The dream. Everyone has one. To exceed in high school, to graduate with honors, to go on a summer road trip with your friends, and to get into the college you want.
My college plan is to go to Penn State Lehigh Valley for my first 2 years and then transfer up to University Park. I plan on joining a film club there or starting one if it's a possibility, and I'm going for communications and film production.
My college plan? Well, my college plan is actually pretty simple. To me, it is at least. Well, to my parents it is too. But I think I'm going to do 2 years, hopefully like community, and then 2 years at a legit college. That would be my ideal plan.
College is a huge part of a young person's life. I have learned through the interviews I conducted that it is also a relatively hard task to accomplish. Throughout this documentary, I hope to further investigate all aspects of the college process and really gain an understanding and try to make sense of all the advice being thrown at students going into college.
I wouldn't say it's too difficult. I think, one of the things that a lot of the counselors are emphasizing is making sure that you do well academically, and then also that you prepare yourselves for the standardized testing, meaning SATs and ACTs. I think one of the restrictions or one of the holdbacks is usually a lot of times prospects or students don't really get familiar with the whole process. So that's kind of where we come in as admissions counselors or athletic recruiters and try to help them out with that process.
I mean, what I learned about recently attending college is it depends on how much advising you get, but I would say as long as you have a solid understanding of requirements graduating from high school, you can get in, but then it's a matter of can you afford it. But
you have to have a 3.0 GPA and get a B or better in all your science classes. Yeah, they only accept 31 students out of about 900.
One of the biggest decisions a person can make is what they do. Nowadays, students are told to start thinking about this as soon as they enter high school. It can be a very tough decision and normally requires a lot of research and support.
Well, I want to either major in political science and minor in communications. The political science is really just because I fell interested in that. Communications because I feel like I'm doing that now, and I kind of fell in love with that, I guess you could say. But political science, I fell in love with people saying how fun it is. So that's why I think I'm choosing political science as my major and communications as a minor.
I would like to go somewhere with history because I enjoy American history and also global history. It's fascinating to me, and I hope that I can get a job somewhere involving it.
I would say don't put too much pressure on yourself. If you're somebody who is not sure what you want, don't go to a school that's going to make you pick something up front. Every school's a little bit different. At Muhlenberg, everyone's undecided no matter what. So for students who are undecided and they're worried about it, we say that's okay because you actually don't have to know day one. But if you're a student who's not sure and you have a school where you have to declare a major, that's hard because what if you don't like that and then you have to switch and you end up being at school longer? So I would say don't declare until you're certain. You might be pressured into something, but don't make it a snap decision unless you're comfortable with it, and ask for help along the way from your guidance counselor and from admissions counselors because they only want to help you so that you don't get tied into a situation that you have to switch later.
Nursing, and because I like the fast pace and helping.
I was a management information systems major. Kind of funny story how I picked that. I didn't actually originally pick that major. It was in talking with my college advisor who prompted me to go in that direction. I originally wanted to do marketing, and he said he thought marketing could be a good plan, but he told me at the time things like computer information systems, IT were really big and up and coming, and he thought that I should go into that, and it sounded reasonable, sounded interesting, and so that's how I got there.
I was a geoscience major at Penn State, and I picked it because I love the outdoors and I wanted to make it my career.
The goal of college is to gain education so that you can have the career you want. In the past couple of years, the job market has been getting more and more competitive. This outcome has made it very hard on students to continue to try their best, knowing that a job is most likely not guaranteed.
I better get a job post-college. I better get a job this summer if I want to even drive. Well, if I don't have a job post-college, my future plan is to have a job directly post-college.
I have confidence that I'm going to try post-college to get a job, but I'm not the one giving myself a job, so I have no idea.
I'm semi-confident. My parents tore me down so much with all the different majors I wanted to do, and my dad keeps telling me that I'm not going to get a good job with the film industry. So that kind of is like semi-confident about it, but I definitely know that I want to move out to California and like LA, Hollywood area and just really work there. And I hope I can get a job, and I make YouTube videos just to try and get to that level, to like try and have the experience with it.
Yeah, because nursing is, you'll always be employed pretty much. There's always somewhere to go.
Actually, it worked out fairly well. I was in a few clubs, one in particular that was the Management Information Systems Club. So not overly exciting, but a good club to get to know various companies. And that was really the point of the club. It wasn't like we sat around and programmed, although people do that, that's okay too. But this club was really about getting together with different companies, coming in, talking about this industry. And the whole point of joining that club was to get to talk to lots of different companies. And it was actually one of those meetings that led to my discussions with one of the recruiters at that time at a company called EDS, and that's where I ended up getting a job. So even though you do all the job fair stuff at school, it ended up being the association to that club that actually connected me to the recruiter, with whose company I ultimately ended up working.
Well, I was already working full-time, so it wasn't difficult for me. My first job was a secretary for Izod Lacrosse, which is back in the day the preppy alligator shirts, which they still have today. I was in customer service. I started out in customer service, being the admin for about 15-20 women in the customer service role. And then shortly thereafter, I was promoted to a customer service representative, which was basically an inside salesperson, which led me to go into sales later after pursuing my business degree.
The job market, I feel like, just in general is hard because there's a lot of varieties that you can do.
Very competitive. We're always looking for positions. So, very competitive.
What I have seen happening and what I think will continue to happen is actual jobs, meaning you go to an office, you work for a company, you have a salary and a 401k and benefits and all of that. I think that we're just going to continue to see that contracting with major media companies and everything else. And the reason for that is because it's becoming a freelancer's world. It's cheaper for a company to hire a freelancer to do a certain thing than to actually have somebody on staff in an office paying for all those benefits. This is true of writers, this is true of editors, copy editors, I mean any kind of content that you're producing. Video, video producers, people who, editors, all of these things can all be freelanced out now. And so you're going to see a lot of that, out there. And that's going to be part of the job market. It's going to be part of the realities in media.
Because of the way the job market is now, teachers as well as students and parents are fully aware of how important education is, especially now. Due to this, educators have started putting immense amounts of pressure on students, which in most cases is contributing negatively because it adds to the pressure already given by the parents and the students themselves.
Yes, there's a ton of pressure put on kids.
Oh, absolutely, yes. I think that's true because I feel pressure and I feel so much stress from all my teachers and my guidance counselors telling me like, oh, what are you going to do? And I felt the most stress, I think, in freshman year when I was only 15, and I shouldn't even have to have stress about college, considering I have 4 more years to plan what I actually want to do when I grow up.
Definitely. I don't know, I feel like there's just so much pressure put on teens nowadays for everything, for sports, for school, for everything, and it just shouldn't be like that.
In general, I feel like there is a lot of pressure for high school students. I mean, at Emmaus High School, you have to do your best. I mean, everyone tries to do their hardest, but in some cases, there's so much put on a student that they can't handle it sometimes.
As I mentioned multiple times before, there's a large amount of pressure put on students about college, adding to the fact that towards the end of a high school student's career, they will need to make a very important life decision. Because of this, support is insanely important from educators, but especially parents.
I think I do the best of my ability every day to influence my children. However, they choose most days not to listen, but I still fight back every day by encouraging them, giving them the love and support that they need so that they can reach for their dreams. My child, I support 100%.
College is the first extremely important life decision the student is likely to make. What I have learned from making this documentary is that the process leading up to college is extremely difficult and very stressful, but it is achievable. You just cannot be afraid to ask questions or for help when you need it. And to remember that this is ultimately your decision, but it is very important to listen to what is being told to you and to try to take what is said into account of your decision.